Vanessa Hart stared at her reflection in the mirror, knowing that somewhere across town, her identical twin sister Isabella was looking at the exact same face. But while Vanessa sat alone in her small apartment, working multiple jobs to pay for community college, Isabella was living in their parents' mansion, attending prestigious Northwestern University on a full scholarship that should have been Vanessa's. The Hart twins had been inseparable for the first 17 years of their lives, finishing each other's sentences and sharing everything. But during their senior year of high school, something changed in Isabella that Vanessa couldn't understand. Suddenly, her sister became secretive, competitive, and ruthlessly ambitious in ways that shocked everyone who knew the formerly sweet girl. It started small. Isabella would borrow Vanessa's homework and forget to return it, then act confused when Vanessa got zeros for late assignments. She began spreading subtle rumors about Vanessa's mental health, telling their parents and friends that her twin was going through a difficult phase, and making up stories for attention. Slowly but systematically, Isabella began isolating Vanessa from everyone they both loved. The cruelest betrayal came during their senior year when Vanessa discovered that Isabella had been secretly dating Marcus Rodriguez, the boy Vanessa had been in love with since freshman year. Marcus and Vanessa had been best friends, spending hours talking about their dreams of studying journalism together at Northwestern University. But Isabella seduced him with lies, telling him that Vanessa had been talking badly about him behind his back, and that she was unstable and jealous. When Vanessa confronted Isabella about stealing her boyfriend, her twin's response was chillingly cold. Marcus chose the better twin, Isabella said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Maybe if you weren't so pathetic and needy, you could keep a man interested. But Isabella's ultimate betrayal was still to come. Both twins had applied to Northwestern University with identical academic records, but only one acceptance letter arrived at the Hart family home. Isabella intercepted it, saw that it was addressed to Vanessa, and made a decision that would change both their lives forever. She carefully steamed open the envelope, forged Vanessa's signature on the acceptance documents, and began the process of stealing her sister's entire future. Using her computer skills and access to family documents, Isabella created fake transcripts, forged recommendation letters, and even impersonated Vanessa during phone calls with university administrators. She convinced their parents that Vanessa had become mentally unstable and was making up stories about college acceptances. When the real Vanessa tried to contact Northwestern, she was told that Isabella Hart had already confirmed enrollment and that there must be some family confusion. The night before Isabella was supposed to leave for Northwestern, Vanessa made one last, desperate attempt to expose the truth. She gathered every piece of evidence she could find and confronted her parents, begging them to listen to her side of the story. But Isabella had been preparing for this moment for months. She had documented fake evidence of Vanessa's supposed mental breakdown, including manipulated text messages, staged photos, and even recorded conversations taken out of context. "Mom, Dad, please," Vanessa pleaded with tears streaming down her face. "She's stolen everything from me. The college acceptance, Marcus, even my identity. You have to believe me." Their parents looked at her with pity and disappointment. Their father shook his head sadly and said, "Vanessa, we think you need professional help. Isabella is trying to build her future, and your jealousy is becoming dangerous." That night, Vanessa was asked to leave the family home temporarily while she got the help she needed. Isabella hugged her goodbye with fake tears, whispering in her ear, "Thanks for the life upgrade, sis. I'll be sure to make the most of your opportunities." For 2 years, Vanessa lived in exile from her own family, working as a waitress, a retail clerk, and cleaning offices at night to pay for community college classes. She watched from afar as Isabella thrived at Northwestern, dating Marcus, making friends, and building the exact future that Vanessa had dreamed of. Social media posts showed Isabella living in luxury dormitories, attending exclusive parties, and receiving academic honors that should have belonged to her twin. But Vanessa had inherited one trait that Isabella had underestimated: their grandmother's gift for patience and strategic thinking. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, Vanessa spent those 2 years carefully documenting everything, building a case, and preparing for the day when she would reclaim her stolen life. The breakthrough came when Vanessa discovered that Isabella had made a crucial mistake. In her arrogance, Isabella had kept digital copies of all the forged documents, fake emails, and manipulated evidence on her laptop as insurance in case she ever needed to use them again. Using social engineering techniques she'd learned from online courses, Vanessa managed to gain access to Isabella's cloud storage account during a brief visit home for their grandmother's funeral. What she found was beyond her worst nightmares. Isabella hadn't just stolen Vanessa's college acceptance, she had been systematically destroying other people's lives for years. She had fabricated evidence to get rivals expelled from high school, manipulated teachers into changing grades, and even falsely accused innocent students of cheating to eliminate competition. The digital files contained a roadmap of sociopathic behavior that would shock anyone who knew the sweet Isabella Hart. But the most damaging discovery was a detailed journal where Isabella documented her psychological manipulation of their parents, Marcus, and dozens of other people. She wrote about studying Vanessa's mannerisms so she could impersonate her more effectively, practicing fake tears in the mirror and feeling genuine pleasure when she saw the pain she caused others. Armed with irrefutable evidence, Vanessa began executing the most methodical revenge plan of her life. She created anonymous social media accounts and began reaching out to every person Isabella had wronged, sharing evidence of her sister's lies and manipulations. She contacted Northwestern University's administration with documented proof of identity theft and academic fraud. But Vanessa's masterstroke was yet to come. She discovered that Isabella was about to graduate, summa cum laude, and had already been accepted to Harvard Law School, again using fraudulent credentials and stolen achievements. Isabella was also engaged to Marcus, with their parents planning to pay for a lavish wedding that would cement her stolen life. 3 days before Isabella's graduation ceremony, Vanessa put her plan into motion. She had spent months building relationships with investigative journalists, university officials, and even FBI agents who specialized in identity theft cases. The evidence she had gathered was so comprehensive and damning that when she finally presented it, the response was immediate and devastating. On the morning of what should have been Isabella's triumph, university police arrived at her dormitory with arrest warrants. The charges included identity theft, academic fraud, forgery, and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The local news stations, tipped off by Vanessa's journalist contacts, were there to capture every moment as Isabella was led away in handcuffs, still wearing her graduation cap and gown. But Vanessa wasn't finished with her revenge. She had arranged for the evidence of Isabella's psychological manipulation to be delivered to Marcus on the same day, along with copies of love letters that Vanessa had written but never sent, proving that she had never spoken badly about him. The revelation that his entire relationship was built on lies and manipulation destroyed Marcus emotionally, but it also freed him from Isabella's toxic influence. The Hart family's world crumbled within hours. Their parents, confronted with undeniable evidence of Isabella's deception and their own failure to protect Vanessa, went into complete shock. The community that had celebrated Isabella as a success story now saw her as a cautionary tale about narcissism and fraud. The wedding was cancelled, the law school acceptance was revoked, and Northwestern University began a full investigation into how their systems had been compromised. Vanessa watched the news coverage from her small apartment, feeling a complex mixture of satisfaction and sadness. She had reclaimed her identity and exposed the truth, but the victory felt hollow without the family relationships that had been destroyed in the process. The unexpected twist came 3 weeks after Isabella's arrest. Marcus appeared at Vanessa's door, looking broken and ashamed. "I need to apologize," he said, tears in his eyes. "I should have trusted you. I should have seen through her lies. I threw away the best thing in my life, because I was weak and easily manipulated." Vanessa looked at the boy she had loved for so long and felt a strange sense of peace. "Marcus," she said gently, "you were a victim too. Isabella studied manipulation the way other people study math. She knew exactly how to exploit your insecurities and turn you against me." But when Marcus asked if they could rebuild their relationship, Vanessa surprised him with her answer. "I've spent 2 years learning who I am without you, without my family, without anyone's validation. I discovered that I'm stronger than I ever imagined. You're a good person, Marcus, but I'm not the same girl who loved you in high school. That girl died when everyone chose Isabella over me." The final revelation came during Isabella's trial 6 months later. Vanessa testified not as a victim, seeking vengeance, but as someone who had found strength through adversity. She spoke about forgiveness, growth, and the importance of truth. Her testimony was so powerful that it helped reduce Isabella's sentence in exchange for her cooperation in preventing similar crimes. After the trial, Vanessa received a letter from Isabella in prison. For the first time in years, her twin sister wrote with what seemed like genuine remorse, acknowledging the pain she had caused and begging for forgiveness. But instead of feeling triumphant, Vanessa felt something unexpected: compassion. She wrote back, "Isabella, I forgive you not because you deserve it, but because carrying hatred was poisoning my own life. You took 2 years from me, but you also gave me something valuable, the knowledge that I can survive anything and rebuild from nothing. I hope you use your time in prison to find the person you were before jealousy and ambition consumed you." Vanessa never replied to Isabella's subsequent letters, but she did something that shocked everyone who knew about their story. She established a victim support fund for people who had been harmed by identity theft and family manipulation, using the settlement money she received from Northwestern University's security failure. 5 years later, Vanessa graduated from a different university with a degree in criminology and victim advocacy. She had found her true calling in helping other people recover from betrayal and rebuild their lives. During her graduation speech as valedictorian, she shared a lesson that had taken her years to learn. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most give us the greatest gift. They force us to discover who we really are when everything familiar is stripped away. Isabella was released from prison after serving 3 years, and she made one final attempt to reconnect with Vanessa. They met at a neutral location, 2 identical faces that reflected completely different life experiences. Isabella had spent her time in prison, getting genuine therapy and education, and for the first time in years, she seemed like the sister Vanessa once loved. "I know I can never undo what I did," Isabella said quietly. "I destroyed our family, hurt innocent people, and threw away the most important relationship in my life. But I want you to know that watching you rebuild your life while I lost everything taught me what real strength looks like." Vanessa looked at her twin sister and saw not the enemy who had stolen her life, but a broken person who had finally found her way to genuine remorse. "Isabella," she said with hard-earned wisdom, "forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or pretending the past didn't happen, but it does mean choosing not to let someone else's mistakes define the rest of your story." They parted that day not as enemies or sisters, but as two people who had learned painful lessons about identity, family, and the consequences of our choices. Vanessa had achieved something more valuable than revenge. She had reclaimed her life, found her purpose, and proven that even the most devastating betrayal couldn't destroy someone with enough resilience to rebuild. The twin who had once been invisible had become a beacon of hope for others who thought their stolen lives could never be recovered. Vanessa Hart had learned that true victory isn't about destroying your enemies, it's about building something better from the ashes of what they tried to take from you.